Welcome. If you're wondering why I look better than I've ever looked on this channel, it's because I finally decided to ditch the iPhone 15 Pro Max and move on to a real camera. You've done good, old friend. So, why am I here today? Well, it's sort of always been a lifelong dream of mine to be able to play the piano. Not even exceptionally well, just to be a decent pianist. And it's sort of always been something I've held over my own head, that I am arguably a professional musician at this point, and still have yet to learn to play the piano. But the thing is, and I know this is an excuse that everybody uses for everything, I can't find the time to practice the piano. And that might sound ridiculous to you, but you might only know me from one of the 3 YouTube channels that I run, and you might also not know that I also run an influencer management agency and also have a couple of other business ventures in the works right now. Just a lot of stuff that keeps me busy throughout the day, and that wouldn't allow me to take up an entire new instrument that I have no idea how to play and learn it from scratch without being paid. Because that is time that could be spent dedicated to any of my multiple business ventures that are supposed to be making me money. That was problem number 1. The second problem was that I didn't own a piano. Fairly obvious one, I feel like you should get out of the way before getting into playing the piano. But again, that wasn't even in the cards for me, because I couldn't imagine a reality in which I could devote another 4 or 5 hours a week into practicing a brand new instrument. And if you're not practicing for at least like that many hours a week, at that point you're not making any progress and it's not worth taking up the thing in the first place. I mean, when I took up the guitar, I would get home from school, play for 6, 7, 8 hours, and then go to bed. That's what it takes to make progress as a beginner. But there is one loophole, and it's making the piano my job so that I can practice it guilt-free for as long as I want, because it is making me money. So I devised a genius plan, sent an email to the kind people at Henry's Music from the Czech Republic, creators of such really cool instruments as this completely solid body nylon string electric guitar. I have yet to make a video with this on my gear channel, so shh. And have them send out one of their electric Ventu series pianos for me to fulfill the lifelong dream of becoming a mediocre pianist and make a sponsored progress update video once every quarter. And if you hadn't noticed yet, that plan was successful because the piano is right there in the bag. Now, because Instagram and TikTok seem to love unboxing footage a lot more than YouTube, you can head over to my Instagram or TikTok, on screen or in the description, in case you want to see some of that yourself and see other content that doesn't go on YouTube. Let's head over to the piano and I'll show you what it can do. Welcome to the piano corner. Now, I don't know how well my boom mic solution over there is going to work for my voice. So as a backup, I've gone with the patented Samsolic lavalier on the hat solution so that I don't have to yell at you. So this here is my Ventu electric piano by Henry's Music. Thank you again to Henry's for making this series possible in the first place, and throughout the next year, you are going to be seeing quarterly progress updates on my piano playing. Because while I obviously would prefer to just post random short clips whenever I've learned and perfected a piece, so that you don't get to see the candid bit of me learning it and being frustrated and crying myself to sleep, that isn't the point of this series. You are supposed to see my progress as it happens, because as of right now, I don't know how to play anything. I'm pretty sure I picked up the first little bit of Gypsy Woman on some TikTok. I already forget how it keeps going. Point being, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I feel like that's come across just fine. So, I don't even actually know the notes on the keyboard. And in anticipation of this, Henry's have provided me with this. Hold on, I don't know if you can see it. There you go. It's basically little rubber strips that you wedge behind the keys on the piano. They are so far up on the keys that they don't disrupt the playing or anything. You never touch them. But it's a much more elegant solution than writing the notes on the keys in Sharpie, which I see a lot of beginners doing. And that's kind of ugly, and you'll smear it with your fingers and it's gross. Is that the more environmentally friendly solution over strips of silicone? Yes. But is it an objectively worse one? Also yes. So thank you, Henry's, for those as well. By the way, there are affiliate links to everything in the description. The piano, these things, Henry's guitars, strings, any musical accessories that Henry's offers, just anything. Go shop Henry's Music. And as this episode and this series goes on, you will also learn about this Ventu piano and what exactly makes it like the perfect beginner piano, for instance, it has a million billion different sounds on it. I'm just gonna bust out my phone to record this little bit here so that I can run you through a couple of those sounds. So we have grand piano, that's the first one, obviously. And then you have a bunch more pianos, bright piano, E.G. piano, honky tonk. And you move past the pianos, you get stuff like glockenspiel, music box, vibraphone. Move even further, and you get into organs, rock organ, church organ, reed organ, stuff like accordion, and then you keep going, bunch of guitar presets, guitar steel, jazz, clean, muted, overdrive, distortion. There is so much shit on here, lest we forget about the wind preset. What would any piano be without it? So for the time being, I'll be sticking with the regular piano presets, but basically, this episode is just going to serve as sort of prep work for the next ones. So as I said, these are going to be quarterly, meaning every 3 months, and currently we agreed on doing this for a year, and then seeing how far we got, seeing if you guys enjoy the series, and perhaps expanding it afterwards. So I felt it would be a good idea to maybe set sort of a benchmark piano piece that I want to have learned by the scheduled end of this series, which would then be towards like mid-end January of 2026. And since I can't currently play the piano, I don't know how difficult anything is, and therefore have no way of knowing if what I'm picking is unrealistic or not. But I figured I would go with Nocturne No. 2 by Frédéric Chopin. Is this stupid? I don't know. I've never seen anybody play it, so I've never seen their hands move and gone, oh, maybe that is unrealistic for a year. I also don't know what a realistic year's progress is going to look like, because I don't know how committed I am to practicing this and just how much time I'm going to have for it, because I happen to also run a business or two and other YouTube stuff besides this. So, a few more things. I will not be getting a piano teacher. I will not be getting sort of online tutoring, buying an online course, anything that costs money. All I will be using is my own brain and resources available for free on the internet. So I'm going to be completely self-taught, which will inevitably result in me being incredibly mediocre. But that is totally fine, because I don't want to become the world's greatest pianist. I just no longer want to not be a pianist, because I'm more used to playing music like this. As my choice in guitars might indicate, but there are so many times when I wish I could maybe accompany myself on guitar with the piano. That would open up so many opportunities for stuff like tracks for gear demos on my Gear Channel 7-string TV. I would just love to be a multi-instrumentalist beyond being a guitar player who pretends to be a bass player sometimes. This piano also features things such as a metronome. Or a record and playback setting. All of that stuff, that's going to be sort of immensely useful for me as I practice, so I don't have to bust out my phone and type metronome into Google and then use that crappy metronome that pops up on the front page when you Google metronome. The closest I've ever gotten to playing the piano has been programming drums on my MIDI keyboard, and in that scenario, I don't look at the keys as notes even, I look at them as parts of a drum kit, you know, snare, hi-hat, kick drum, China cymbal, whatever. I really don't know anything. And with guitar, I've never had to learn sheet music, because if I don't want to compose stuff myself, if I want to learn music that already exists, odds are actually higher that there will be a tab for it than sheet music. I just want to look at the sheet music and be able to learn what's on it. If that takes an hour, I don't give a fuck. I don't need to be the guy who gets sheet music set in front of him and goes, oh, okay, first time ever seen that. This episode is really just a precursor to the following ones, which will definitely be much more exciting for you to watch, because you will actually get to see me make progress and see what some realistic progress looks like for somebody who also can't dedicate 6 hours a day to it, because I have a job and a YouTube channel. Well, the YouTube channel is my job, but I also have a company and another company and just stuff that keeps me busy enough that I don't have an immense amount of time to dedicate to this, but I'm still going to try my best. And those next videos will contain just actual footage of me practicing. But these videos here on YouTube will be absolutely realistic, and they will contain my failures as well as my victories, and I assume there will be a lot of failures. I've tried to branch out of guitar before, and I tried learning the drums. In fact, I've done that 2 separate times. I had 2 electric drum kits, and I sold each one after only a few months because the hand-foot coordination of playing a kick pattern with your feet and then doing something completely different up top with your hands, that just fucked with me. And then I was making such little progress that I'd end up snapping sticks over my knee and throwing them and yelling, and I'm not very good with stuff that is really frustrating. So I hope this goes differently. I'm not going to break the piano, I promise. So if you want a Henry's Ventu piano of your own, then there are affiliate links in the description. This is very, very good for somebody who's just starting out. I can tell you that as somebody who is just starting out. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Henry's for making this series possible. And I hope, of course, to see you on this channel within the next 3 months. But I will see you on the next episode of this series precisely 3 months from now. See ya.